Colorado teachers fed up and demanding more.
We're asking for accountability in our contract.
After teaching in the middle of the pandemic, they want to give more to their students, but say they need funding to do so.
It's time to invest in our educators, the way our educators invest in our students.
Plus, JBS finally getting back on track.
An organization has to learn the lesson the hard way.
How the recent ransomware attack now has other companies beefing up their systems.
And ready to pack Ball Arena.
Rantanen shoots, he scores!
Full capacity is coming back just in time for the playoffs.
At first tonight, the Denver Public School Board is ready to vote despite all the controversy surrounding their pick.
The board tells Denver7 Dr. Alex Marrero is still their pick to become superintendent, and they are confident he's the right person for the job. Denver7 Sloan Dickey's been keeping an eye on this virtual school board meeting, started about half hour ago.
And Sloan, the meeting's been pretty slow so far?
Yeah, it's been pretty slow, just with some presentations. We haven't gotten to that vote on Alex Marrero just yet, but they will certainly be taking it up this evening. That 7-member council will be weighing his strengths along with some of those leadership controversies that you just mentioned. He was chosen from a group of 3 potential superintendents for his commitment to diversity and inclusion. He comes from a posting in New Rochelle, New York, where he was the first Latinx head of the school system there. He's also said his goal is to get kids back into the classroom as the pandemic winds down. Now, some parent groups have raised concerns about his nomination, including a lawsuit that he's named in regarding the response of the New Rochelle School District to COVID-19. Now, despite that lawsuit, several board members have spoken strongly in favor of Marrero and say he is the right pick for a multicultural, multilingual city. He spoke a week ago about his passion for education and the reasons for accepting the nomination.
How remarkable for a community where every day, not only we tell our students how important education is, but we show them that we believe in them and how powerful education is in helping achieve their dreams.
Now, that vote has not happened yet in the DPS school board meeting. We'll be following the meeting this evening and let you know when anything happens. Reporting live in Denver, Sloan Dickey, Denver7.
All right, Sloan, thank you for that. And DPS school board member Tay Anderson says this superintendent vote will be his last until at least August. This past weekend, he announced he is stepping back from his board duties while the independent investigation into sexual misconduct allegations against him continues. Anderson continues to deny all claims. Now, over in Jefferson County, right now teachers are rallying for not only higher wages, but more support from the district.
Denver7's Lance Hernandez outside district headquarters. And Lance, negotiations for this contract are underway right now.
They certainly are, and you can see teachers in the background are marching. They want a fair wage. They're walking from school district headquarters over to Denver West Boulevard. The current contract expires in August. There will be a negotiating session tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And another on June 10th. I talked with an art teacher today who's president of the JCEA. She says teachers are asking for a fair living wage.
This one is my oxygen propane torch.
Brooke Williams is an art teacher who uses this torch to melt down metal.
I've made my rings and all my bracelets.
Before the pandemic, she taught students the value of going to estate sales or Goodwill.
They pick out a piece of silverware and have to design a piece of jewelry.
But this past year has been different.
It's been really tough on educators, very stressful.
Trying to meet student mental health and instructional needs remotely. That's why teachers have loaded their cars and headed to district headquarters for this rally. They want to advocate for students. Among their goals, equity for teachers and students, true collaboration when decisions are being made, and teacher pay increases. Williams says the current pay makes it difficult for teachers to buy homes.
I have personal friends that are still living with parents, and that's really difficult.
Williams says things were a lot different when she first started.
It was a destination school district, and I just feel like we aren't remaining competitive in pay, so we're not attracting the best educators.
And what about equity?
Currently only have 6 African-American educators, licensed educators in Jefferson County.
That's in a district with 4,700 teachers. I reached out to district headquarters for comment about these concerns, have yet to hear back.
The school board now meeting in executive session to discuss negotiation strategy. Tomorrow's negotiating session via Zoom is open to the public, and Ms. Williams told me she's glad to see the superintendent will be sitting down at the negotiating table. She says in all her years here in Jeffco, she's never seen that happen before. In Golden, Lance Hernandez, Denver7.
All right, Lance, thank you for that. And it's not just Jefferson County teachers struggling. Tonight, we're taking a deeper look at the hardships our Colorado teachers are facing. This past year, they've all had to become computer savvy, having to balance the back and forth of in-person and online classes. In fact, a survey from the Colorado Education Association shows 40% of teachers tell them they're considering leaving the job after this tough pandemic year.
And as you heard in Lance's report there, one of the biggest problems for teachers is the pay they face. The Department of Education tracks salaries nationwide. The most recent statistics available is for the 1920 school year, so that's pre-pandemic. But even then, Colorado teachers earning only on average about $57,000 a year, $6,000 below the national average. And the year our teachers here in Colorado made the most was way back in 1990. The average back then was about $62,000.
And right now, our Colorado lawmakers are digging deeper into the problem and working to raise the funds available for all educators. Senate Bill 172, or the Educator Pay Raise Fund, is currently being heard in the House Education Committee. In fact, today it's being heard. And essentially, the bill would create a designated fund in the legislature to fund teachers and school staff raises. That way, when the state budget comes out next year, it could then include that designated spot for raises. The only downside is there's no guarantee that money would be added to the fund initially. So that bill still has to go back to the Senate before it could eventually get to the governor's desk. And our digital team is also going in depth on teacher pay, including the controversies surrounding the DPS superintendent vote. You can find all of that information right now on our website, thedenverchannel.com. You can also get the latest on our free Denver7 Plus app. You can download it now on your streaming device.
Ball Arena is about to be packed for the playoffs. Today, the arena announced they're going 100% capacity for the next playoff game. And in a perfect world, that would be next Tuesday for Game 5 of the Avs series against the Golden Knights. Now, the Nuggets could be the first team with a full arena of fans, but that is only if the Trailblazers force a Game 7. That's tonight, and tonight we'll find out what happens. Well, JBS has now resumed all operations at all plants, including Greeley, after last weekend's ransomware attack.
Many wondered if JBS actually paid a ransom to get things back on track, but in a new statement to Denver7, they credit the company's swift response, robust IT systems, and encrypted backup servers, which allowed for what they say is a rapid recovery. Nowhere in the statement does JBS say they paid a ransom. But as Denver7's Russell Haythorne explains, experts say this attack still exposes the vulnerabilities many major corporations still face.
In the dark underworld of hacking, nothing is off limits, and the targets can impact all of us.
Everybody recognizes the idea of being out of fuel, or the idea of not being able to get the food on the shelf that they need for their family. So it's really struck a chord.
JBS, the largest meat supplier in the world, got hacked and may have had to pay a ransom to get back online so quickly. Many experts say this is an indicator of negligence among large companies that are severely underprotected with regard to cybersecurity.
An organization has to learn the lesson the hard way.
Experts say mitigating the possibility of a breach requires simple, common-sense steps that companies can adopt and implement. That starts with enforcing good password hygiene for employees.
The path of least resistance for a user is the path of least resistance for someone implementing a cyber crime.
The best passwords are longer than 16 characters, random, combine upper and lowercase letters, plus numbers and symbols. Also enabling two-factor authentication across remote access and logins. And finally, protecting emails. Experts say companies must better train employees so credentials aren't compromised.
Education, awareness, and training is over half the battle.
A cautionary tale for other companies that this can and will happen again.
Organizations that are well drilled and rehearsed and can detect this stuff, very quickly, have a good shot. Those that don't and don't have an ability to do things like a restore process, which is difficult to do in practice, end up having much longer delays and disruptions, and that's what really causes the consumer impact.
Russell Haythorne, Denver7.
Traveling anywhere in the world in just 4 hours for under $100.
We're going to break down the time barrier to travel.
One Colorado entrepreneur thinks it'll be possible in our lifetime and now has a major investor on his side.
It's going to be in the air pretty soon.
Plus, did you get your COVID-19 vaccine shot at a King Soopers? You're now eligible to win a big prize.
And how you can weigh in on improvements coming to Civic Center Park.
Man, it is just beautiful out there right now, and we have even warmer days as we head into the weekend.